I'm Caitlin E, and welcome back to the Lit Review. Today, we're gonna kick off the new year properly by continuing with LitLand. So if this is your first time here, this is my TBR game that I've been playing for the last several years, but I play pretty sporadically. It's how I pick my to be read pile for the month. Each of these colors corresponding to a different genre. It's originally inspired by Candyland, but it's grown a lot on its own. It has a lot more nuance and little traps and tricks along the way. But my goal is to make my way along the path to get to what now says book haul, but I think we're going to change up the reward of that the next time I win it, but we're a ways off from there. So even though it's been a hot minute since we last talked and I did LitLand, I do have to take a punishment because there's a book that I didn't finish from our last batch, and that is Witches Steeped in Gold by Sienna Smart. I still kind of foolishly, optimistically want to be able to finish that book. I did make it like a chunk of the way through, but still haven't really picked it up, even though it's been months. So we're going to be taking a punishment pick, and I will do that first. But before I get that far, let's talk about what I'm trying to get done. All right, so I have a couple of like challenges, readathons that I like to participate in that are like year-long challenges. The first is the Buzzwordathon hosted by Kayla from Books and Lala, and the prompt for January is there, and there. So one of those three words needs to be in the book title. I am going to change up my approach to how I think about these challenges. In the past, I've been like, if I can get to them, great. If not, but I'm going to try to like pick my book before I play the game and see if I can squish them in. And if I can't, then I'll figure my stuff out. But for this one, I think I'm going to try to read Castles in Their Bones by Laura Sebastian. Let's see, what could this work for? I believe this is YA, so it could work for that. It is also a fantasy, so it could work for that. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know much about it other than that. We'll get into what it's about if I can make it work. And the other one that I like to do is my book club, the Book Covered Book Club, where we, much like Buzzwordathon, have a prompt and then you can read to whatever that prompt is. I have not made an announcement video for it. I'm mostly going to be keeping it on Discord, I think. I don't know, maybe if you think there's value in me doing an announcement video, I will. But there is a Discord for it that I will link below if you'd like to check it out. All of the prompts for the year are already in the Discord. There's also some templates and some other like things to do and see, but I'm trying to like figure out the best way to go about getting this book club out and about. That probably does mean I'll do a video at some point, even though clearly I'm behind the 8-ball on that one. But the prompt for January that I have actually put together is an ornate pattern on the cover. And I think that's like a really popular trend right now, especially in fantasy books. A perfect example is the book I'm going to be trying to read in January some way, somehow, and that's A Marvelous Light by Freya Marsk. This is the first in a trilogy. I have this really fun Illumicrate edition that has like the clear cover over the front, but this is what I mean by like an ornate pattern, y'all. Like there's an ornate pattern on the background and it's real pretty. So this would work, I think, for a historical because it is a historical fantasy. It is a fantasy, so it would work for that too. There is like a smidgen of romance in this series, but I don't know if that's at the foreground enough for me to consider it in the romance category. But anyway, for the two book clubs, these are the two I'm going to try to get through. We'll see what happens. I also did not finish my Trollbridge pick, my prompt that we pulled together at the end of every video. So I will not be able to save myself from the punishment, which is what we will do first. So let's get to the board footage and then we'll see what I pull for punishment. Okay, as per usual, here is our board. We have our unused cards, the ones we've been pulling from. These are the stack of former cards. It's been a while since we played, but here is some of the cards that we have used in the past. They will go here. Oop, don't get weird. And then we have our punishment picks. We will be pulling one of those, unfortunately. That happens when I either don't finish a book or I land on a stuck square. Then we have the pink cards, which are my cards that I get if I land on one of the little ones with a book. And those are my challenge squares. And then we have a Trollbridge card, which I will need to use to either cross a bridge, land on a rainbow square, And then there are the Trollbridge cards, which I will use to either land on a rainbow square, cross a bridge, and then we also do a Trollbridge pick together at the end of the month, so stay tuned for that. This is where we left Wilbur when we last saw you all in October. So let's kick this back up and get going. Oh, okay. A hyped up book you're not excited about. Yeesh. All right. And because it's a punishment, I both have to do this, and Wilbur will not be moving forward. So my green cards are my stuck squares and my punishment cards. Not all of the prompts in here inherently mean really bad things. And I feel like this is kind of that gray area that this prompt falls into. It's a hyped up book that I'm not excited about. Like, that I probably bought because it was being hyped up and I've just avoided it. There are so many of these. So I'm gonna see if I can either surprise myself or help de-influence some of you all with my picks. Let me go get one. I totally know what I want to pick. Okay, so disclaimer, because I'm probably gonna make some of you kind of cranky with this one. It's okay if you love this book. I think it is so hyped that I am now intimidated by it, and I'm not convinced I'm going to like it. Because it also has been kind of polarizing. People who love it. People who aren't about it, woof, they do not enjoy. So we'll see which side I end up on, and that is The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood. So here's what I know about this book. I know that it's a contemporary romance and that it is a grad student and a professor. So there's a little bit of workplace or office romance. There's a little bit of a forbidden or taboo romance. So our main female character is Olive. She's a third-year PhD student. So even though there is power dynamics and like forbidden nature of this romance, she is definitely of age. And somehow she has to convince her best friend that she's dating, and I don't fully know why she needs to convince her best friend. I'm sure through plot foolishness, just decides to kiss the first dude she sees, which, great call. Great way to science it up. And that dude is none other than Adam Carlson, a young hotshot professor and well-known ass, according to the back of this book. Great. I just don't know. First of all, I know that it's Reylo fan fiction initially, and that scares me because I am very anti-Reylo in the Star Wars community. We're just not going to get into that because that's a whole other different set of feelings and maybe a whole other video. I'm very against it. So I'm scared for that reason. But I did, like, my curiosity was piqued because it's so freaking popular, right? Like, everybody loves this. And I do love a good woman in STEM moment. So we're going to see. We're going to see. I'm scared. But this is my punishment pick because I didn't read my book. I'm so angsty. Pull number 1. 1 yellow. Get you facing the right way, little buddy. Okay, so, okay, 1 yellow. Yellow is my color for young adult. And I can make my Buzzwordathon pick work for this, so that's great. So I'm gonna read Castles in Their Bones by Laura Sebastian. I'm so happy. That worked out. Great. Okay, so let's see. Why I wanted to pick this up, like why I own this book. I actually enjoy the Ash Princess series by Laura Sebastian a fair bit. So I was curious to read some of her other work. This one is, again, a kind of young adult fantasy. In this book, there are 3 princesses, Sofriana, Beatrice, and Daphne, and they are kind of like meant to be the perfect brides because their mother, Empress Margot, knows there is one common truth: everyone underestimates a girl. But they're triplets. Fun detail there. So they've been trained since birth to bring down rivaling kings and kingdoms. So whether that's like through actual assassination, seduction, they've got options. They do. They've got options. So they've spent their lives preparing and are now ready to meet their princes. Each with their own secret skill and a single wish pulled from the stars. I would love to know more about what that means. Please tell me what that means, Laura Sebastian. And it's really about, like, are they going to stick true? Are they going to, like, follow their mother's wishes and topple some kingdoms? Or are they going to, like, live out their own wish and dream? And I know it's a dynamic that plays out again and again in fantasy as well as young adult fantasy specifically. But boy, howdy do I like it when it lands, and I'm hopeful that Laura Sebastian can get me there. Pull number 2. Ooh, blue ×2. All right. Oh, no bridge. Boop. And boop. Oh boy. All right, so pull number 2 gave us a ×2. This is a blue ×2, and blue is my color for nonfiction. I don't think I have any nonfiction in my priority shelf. Also, I have shut the door to this room because my cats are being a little destructive, and I just didn't want them to eat my game. I do have an inkling about what I would like to pick for these 2, but I'm just gonna put the pictures up here because I'm afraid to open the door and let in my tiny terrors. So with that in mind, I've been really wanting to read, I've had it for a couple of years on my shelves, but I've been really wanting to read The Year of Yes by Shonda Rhimes. It is a memoir nonfiction piece by Shonda Rhimes, who's famous for creating TV shows like Grey's Anatomy, Scandal, How to Get Away with Murder. And she basically had a family member accuse her of never saying yes to things, and it sparked a year where Shonda kind of like put herself through this exercise of saying yes, whether that was to family and friend gatherings or to like speaking events, so that she just put herself forward more often, and it's her kind of like journey and reflection of that. And I really want to read it. I really think it sounds like a good time. So that's going to be my first nonfiction pick. And then my second nonfiction pick, it's coming back around again. You have definitely heard me talk about it on this channel for literal years because I've tried. I actually did start to read it at one point, had to return it to the library, bought the book, tried to start it again, got sad, didn't finish it, but I swear I'm going to finish it if it harms me, which it might. And that's Know My Name by Chanel Miller. I really can't say highly enough about Chanel Miller's ability to write a gripping and very sad personal experience. But it is her story, and it is her reclaiming of her experience and her, sense of self. And I know it's going to be a difficult read. I talk about this every time I talk about this book. It's going to be a difficult read, but she's so good as a writer. I need to finish it. I need to. And not just because of, I'm a reluctant DNFer, which is true, but just because I genuinely think I want to finish it and that it will be hard but good. So I'm gonna try again. We're gonna try again with for the 3rd or 4th time's the charm. I guess we're just gonna see. We're gonna see if it works out. Pull number 3. Oh, 1 green. Boop. Okay, so we made it a decent amount. That's not bad. That's not too bad. Green. 1 green is my color for historical. Ooh, I just said. I can fit in both of my books for my book clubs this month. This is really exciting. Okay, so I'm going to try to read A Marvelous Light by Freya Marsk. This is the first in a trilogy. This edition that I have in my hands here is an Illumicrate exclusive, so it has very pretty edges. I think they've done at least the second, if not the second and third as well. So if I end up liking this, I will probably try to track those down. So this does have some fantasy elements to it, but it is deeply rooted in the historical genre as well. So I'm gonna make it count. I'm gonna make it work. Because there's a baronet, and his name is Robin. He's got the problems that, normally accompany being a young baronet, which is, he's trying to be a decent older brother and head of house. He's, in charge of humans and the livelihoods of people as a titled gentleman. And he's also trying to save his estate that his parents surprisingly did not take good care of. So then an administrative mistake appoints him parliamentary liaison to a secret society, which is where the fantasy element comes in. And so he, in the process of this being the liaison, discovers that magic lies beneath the reality that he has always known, and he has to confront that. And key in helping him confront that is Edwin Corsi, and he's the kind of counterpart liaison to Robin. And part of what they are tasked with doing is they're finding Robin's missing predecessor, and he gets cursed. There's a deadly curse involved. So they have to work together. Natch. There's a plot that threatens every magician in the British Isles. So it's set in the UK. This just sounds like a good time, right? Like, this just sounds like fun. I also have a friend at work who loves this whole series and has been gently nudging me to read it. So, friend, if you're watching, I promise I'm going to read it this month. If not this month, the next month. I'm excited about it. It actually sounds really good. Okay, so officially, again, 2 of my books are missing because I'm lazy and don't want to open the door to this room. But my punishment pick is The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood. Then I'm reading Castles in Their Bones by Laura Sebastian. And then my 2 nonfictions that are not here in this stack are The Year of Yes by Shonda Rhimes and Know My Name by Chanel Miller. And then I'm going to read A Marvelous Light by Freya Marsk. So it's 5 is a good number. But before we go, I owe you a Trollbridge pick. So I started doing this because the Trollbridge is a mechanic that exists in the game, but we almost never get to do anything with it because it just doesn't happen that often. So I have all these cute little cards though, with silly little trolls on them that I quite like. Let's see, what are we up to this month? And as always, like, if I do the thing, I can save myself from a punishment. If you do or do not do the thing, all good, no worries. It's just a fun thing for us to maybe do together. So here we go. What are we up to this month in January? Oh, okay. So I have got to do a review video for you. Spicy. I am really bad at this, despite the fact that my channel is called The Lit Review. Most of my reviews come from my end of month wrap-ups. So this is genuinely a challenge for me. If you are participating in this, like, obviously if you have a channel, this is a great way to inspire you to do a review for your own channel. You can do it on TikTok, you could do it on Instagram. If you are not a review video person but still want to participate, I would encourage you to review something on Goodreads or Amazon or Storygraph or wherever it is that you kind of keep your public reviews of the books that you read. So this is just a good community action for all of us to review what we're reading. All right. Not too shabby, not too bad at all. I'm quite pleased with how LitLand has treated us this time around. And I'm excited. I want to know where we go with this, even though there's a little bit of a trepidation with some of the picks for January. I'm pumped. I think we've got a good crop of books here. So thank you for spending time with me. I hope you have a fantastic day or night, depending on when you see this. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Hold on, girl, now wait just a minute. I've got something to say, you should hear it. Oh, I'm happy to make time for your feelings, but you have to admit